feels weird that I'm talking to a sticky note.
Yeah. All right, so I want to welcome you to the interview process, and there's going to be 3 themes we talk about. The first theme is going to focus on classroom leadership and student support. Now, at Blue Springs, we value classrooms that are both supportive but well managed. We want students to feel safe, respected, and ready to learn, and we look for educators that can create that balance. With that in mind, how do you establish clear expectations and routines that help students feel safe, focused, and ready to learn?
Yeah, definitely. I think that is a fundamental part of learning, that you're able to have a safe space where you're able to learn and express yourself in a respectful manner without disruption of the overall classroom, of course, right? So I think that boils down to classroom expectations. In my previous experience of student teaching, that honestly comes with a lot of reminders of what the expectations are to be able to withhold them. And usually students are able to follow along when they clearly know the expectations. And of course you'll have your challenges within there. If you'd like to me to more deeper explain what that kind of looks like, I'd be happy to. But yeah, a lot of it is just making sure they have clear access to the information. A large barrier can be communication at times.
Awesome answers. The next question is, how would you respond if a student became disengaged or disruptive during instruction?
Yeah. If a student were to become disengaged or distracted during instruction, I think that it's important to recognize the purpose behind why they might be becoming distracted. One of the fundamental experiences that I had in student teaching was that my teacher would actually integrate some of the things that we were learning and like jog or do jumping jacks or connect an exercise with that physical activity portion with the actual substitution or deletion. And that was really fun because personally I really love exercise and the students really could use it to engage and use it as a brain break as well. And it's perfect.
Awesome. All right, now we're going to move into theme number 2, which is instructional growth and access. At Blue Springs, we value rigorous and yet accessible learning for all students. We want students to be challenged, supported, and given meaningful opportunities to grow. With that said, how do you design instruction that is both academically rigorous while still accessible to learners with different needs and readiness levels?
Yeah, so that definitely takes being a very intentional teacher, obviously. So one of the fundamental things that I believe behind that is that we can look at research-based instruction already, and we can use that and adapt it in ways to reach students. So one thing that I specifically did in student teaching was we were able to take that and use the resource that's already resource-backed, and we would modify it to make it more engaging. So, for example, for our social studies unit, we already have these fun newspapers that the kids get to read out of. It's a different kind of contact with text that they wouldn't normally have. We get to review the text features that are seen within a newspaper, which is kind of non-traditional for 4th grade, right? Very exciting. And we did a wants and needs section, right? And we compared different wants and needs. And then we did a sort. We did a physical sort between the pictures, which was so fun, and students can really access the content through that. And I think that it's not what it looks like every day, and we don't have the same routines because otherwise they can become mundane. And so that's where I think you start, is your instruction. You have the research-backed instruction that is proven to work, and then you can modify from there, always going off of that now I forgot what I was going to say. Sorry, give me one moment. You always go off of your assessment, what you're finding daily, and what's a fun thing that I learned in college is Bloom's taxonomy, and you can really look at students' knowledge and understanding. If they're not there, then they're definitely not going to be able to create and analyze and do all these other fun things with it. And so I think it's fundamental that you can obviously pre-teach and scaffold students to reach higher levels of understanding and get to that higher level of creating projects and whatnot with learning. Can I just go?
Yeah, awesome answers. Your next question is this: how do you monitor student understanding during a lesson, and how do you respond when students are not mastering the content?
Yeah, so relating back to teaching, I think it's always important to look at your objective for the day. So if the purpose is mastery, then you definitely want to take a look back at what you've been doing about the previous lesson. So I would reflect, okay, where should we really be at in terms of knowledge and understanding. And then what that looks like on a daily basis in my classroom, I like to do like thumbs up, like how are we feeling about this? Emotional check-ins, like yes, I'm not sure, and students feel like they can actually be honest with me, and I love that in my experience with student teaching, and that has been a great resource. Students can be really honest. I've also used whiteboards where they're able to write out their answers on the whiteboard quickly as I answer a question, and then they hold it up. You can tell based on speed how fast they're answering the question, if they truly understand it, and if it's mastered, they're going to be able to write it down pretty quick, and that's just a great, quick way to check in with students.
Go. At Blue Springs, we value strong relationships, collaboration, and connection to our school community. We want educators who work well with students, families, and colleagues, and who are committed to our mission and culture. With that said, how do you build trust and positive relationships with students, families, and colleagues in the school?
I actually love that question because that's part of the reason that drew me here to Blue Springs School District. So one of the things that I love doing is sending little cards home with students. I like to, as I've heard it, catch them being good, because students need to know what they're doing good so that they can be able to form those things. Otherwise, it's very easy to get hyper fixated on the things that might not be going well, but if you can really hone in on those things that they are doing well at and they love getting them, their faces light up, my face lights up because I get to send something good home, and they get to show their parents and they're so proud. Another thing that I look forward to doing, and you'll see it in my future classroom, is that I'm going to be communicating with parents at least once a semester before conferences. You always have to reach them before conference time, otherwise it's too late. And so I believe that every time something good is happening within the classroom, you need to be reaching out and letting those parents know. So that way when those hard times do come, you can really collaborate. In addition, I think that within the school community, there are so many great resources here. I love that you guys work together as a community and you really look at the holistic approach of learning, because then you can develop deeper meaning and purpose to lives, and I'm truly passionate about that.
All right, and for our final question, what I'd like to ask you is, why do you want to be part of the Blue Springs team, and how do you see yourself contributing to our school and our community?
Well, I have to admit, I've been envisioning this for about a year now. I love, on top of all the questions you've been asking, which exactly are tailored to me as a future educator in general, but I love that community and that deeper sense of meaning and purpose to life. And I can really see that for me and my future family as I get married this June. And that just makes it all the more meaningful to be a part of something bigger than me. And just be able to serve those around me is just something that I'm really passionate about, and you guys are as well. I mean, you have top-of-the-line teachers as well. You're a highly known school district in Missouri. After talking to other, obviously, Graceland connections that I have here that may or may not have spoken with you. But yeah, I love the connections, and I would totally look forward to collaborating with the community here.
Awesome. And now for your final question, and this is always going to be asked.
Yes.
What questions do you have for us?
Yeah, so, well, obviously I'm a first-year teacher, so I'm just curious, like, what your support looks like for a first-year teacher, if you have any mentor programs or anything like that.
Blah, 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 blah. Next question. Do you have any other questions?
I don't know if I have any other questions.
Okay, we'll pause there. I want to sort of talk. And for a final question, what questions do you have for us today?
Well, my first question is, what makes the Blue Springs School District so exciting and meaningful to you for you to be working here?
Perfect, and everybody will pause and people talk about I love Xbox. What other questions do you have?
Yeah, so I'm just curious what collaboration looks like for a first-year teacher. Obviously, someone who has come from that community of collaboration and a school that's so fond of it, what can I expect as a first-year teacher?
Blah, 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 blah. Great question. Do you have any more?
No, thank you so much for your time.
Perfect. And then